It's 7 o'clock. Let's call the meeting together at this time. All the members here present. Pete,
Yep.
Darren. Yep. Cody. Yep. Chris. Yes. Marianne, you're not in yet. We will be shortly. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just so everybody knows, from now on, all meetings are gonna be taped and broadcast. For everybody knows that. Got the minutes from the last meeting? No, wait a minute. We're gonna prove Marianne.
Okay. Make a motion to accept Mary Ann Lilly.
I'll second.
Made, seconded, to set Marianne Lilly to the board here. All in favor, that's say aye.
Aye.
Vote. Okay. Swearing in.
Okay, Marianne, can you stand? Raise your right hand. I, Marianne Lilly, repeat after me.
I, Marianne Lilly,
Having been appointed to the office of village trustee,
having been appointed to the office of village trustee,
but have not yet entered upon said duties,
have not yet entered upon set duties,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the state of Wisconsin,
Constitution of the state of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge duties of said office
and will faithfully discharge duties of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome. Anybody who's not on the agenda? Okay. Minutes from the last meeting? Any additions or corrections?
Approve the July meeting minutes.
Second. Motion made and seconded to approve the July minutes. In favor, aye? Opposed? Okay. Had an agreement to the meeting with Baki Norman lawyer firm that we're temporarily going to use, and here's a representative with us tonight, Andrew Hillis.
Yeah.
So if everybody's wondering who he is, he's our lawyer representative for the night.
He'll be interim. For those that don't know, Tim Locks retired, resigned, whatever you want to call it. So he will no longer serve. Tim recommended we use these guys temporarily until we can either advertise or search for a new. Yeah, I suppose right now, for the interim.
I'll make a motion that we approve to use back in Norman interim firm. Second.
Motion made, seconded to go ahead. Who's Baki Norman? Favor, aye? And that liquor license.
Okay, I got amended liquor license. This is for the speakeasy up. It's going to be for September 12th and 13th. They want to temporarily expand their limit outside. It also will include shutting down the alley in front of their place, the back alley behind Sean Munson's up there. They're basically, I think they're having their Dina's daughter's wedding, if I remember correctly.
Oh, wait, that's all.
Huh?
Yeah, do the wedding reception.
Okay, so they're expanding it for the wedding reception, September 12th and 13th, probably won't need both days, but they need time to clean up the stuff, so. They'll have everything barricaded and, controlled access, so.
I assume Isaacson can still get access to their.
Yeah, it won't go up that far. They'll stop at their building.
And I'll make a motion to amend their liquor license for that weekend.
There.
Made and seconded to go ahead. License in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other operators?
Got three operator licenses to approve. They are a Brooke Kress, Brooke Barthman, and an Amber Schmidt. Request that those three be approved.
Make a motion to approve Brooke Barthman, Brooke Kress, and Amber Smith for operator license.
Second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve the three of them. Favor, aye. Opposed? Okay. Under the committee reports, property is ATR storage.
Is it okay if he stands or?
Yes.
So I just have a question on, first of all, what is the property zone?
Industrial.
Industrial.
Okay, because according to the county GIS, it is not. So which one trumps which?
County, you were looking at the wrong thing on the county website.
I don't believe I was. I was looking at a GIS map and it shows all of them as commercial.
How can it be?
That's the first question.
You're located right here, correct?
I understand, but you're on the village.
Yeah.
Go to the county.
County website, county doesn't have anything to do with our
No.
zoning.
Which one trumps who?
Village
The
Trump
village
zoning
Trump zoning in the village.
in the village.
If the village has its own zoning, then they use their zoning, not the county's.
Okay. So that, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the biggest thing with that was when we talked to the inspection company, they said that they did not check those things. Cause the permit company, cause they gave him the permits to do what he was doing. And they told us that now they check zoning before they give permits. And it was an issue with whoever they used before.
Is this the thing you're referring to, the G2 commercial?
Yeah, no, that's what we're talking about on the commercial.
Okay. The G2 commercial, same thing on this one, right? These are from the parcels. Commercial G2. That's what you're referring to, right?
Well, I just looked at the map, same as what you did, only on the county level. I didn't specifically look
County
at
has
that.
no jurisdiction over our zoning. So if you're looking at this, the class, where it says classification, G2 commercial,
Okay,
that
that's
is,
one thing I wanted to clear up. The second thing is, why did you deter somebody from renting my space?
Can we explain to him or to the board?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, maybe we could
Yeah.
get some clarification.
So I had a customer approach me, wanted to rent 2 of the units. They asked me if they could work on vehicles and sell cars out of there. I said, I don't know. I know you can work on them. Selling a dealer license, I don't know. They called Al. Now I could read the text that he responded to me with, but basically Al said, don't rent there. There's all sorts of problems, which has never been brought up to me at any point in time.
He's doing illegal things.
So the customer then texted me this. I called him. I said, well, let me get bound to it. Well, one thing, the customer had to move on. He needed a commercial place to run his business. I've since then lost that ability. He wanted to rent 2 units for a minimum contract of 2 years. And because of what Al told him, he went a different direction. Now, I find it funny that she had to be sworn in to do her duties. I mean, his answer should have been either give him an answer, and I don't know, I'll find out, or this is what you need to do that. From what I found out, the correct answer should have been, yes, you can work on them. You will need a conditional use permit to sell. And this is how you do that. That was not what was said. Was basically told him, I wouldn't go there if I were you.
On top of that, he never once called and talked to him about the issues that he told the client. And just in case you're wondering for number wise, we're talking $3,000,
$72,000 minimum.
$3,000 a month and 2-year contract that he did not sign because of what happened. And that's a big deal to a business that has bought 3 businesses in Clear Lake in the past couple of years and investing in our community.
You got $1 million building. Be nice to pay for it. And because of what you said, I'm now out $72,000.
what I told him was the building, the property is zoned industrial.
Yeah,
And the property is zoned industrial. I'm not sure if the automobile would be an acceptable use.
that's not what you told him.
What did I tell him?
You want me to read the text? I can certainly find it.
Well,
All right.
So I would assume that when this building was being built, it went through the planning commission.
No, doesn't need to go through the planning commission. It went ahead, he had to get state approved plans to do it. And that's part of it.
In order for me to build a house in this village, I have to go through the planning commission, but we don't for,
You didn't have to go through the planning.
I had to. bring
You had to go
plans.
through the planning
I had-
commission.
I had to
for-
get approved for the planning commission.
You had to get approved for planning, from the planning commission because you put a private well and septic in.
Well, either way, I had to deal with the planning commission for that, so they would think that that should be something, if there's gonna be.
I don't know if there's issues with his building per se and what he's doing there.
At that time, it should have been explained, I guess, what can and can't happen if he's gonna be building there.
Well, if you look up industrial one, which I did, it does say automotive repair is allowed,
Automobile body repair, yes.
is allowed. However, it doesn't say anything about dealerships, so obviously he would need a conditional use permit to sell vehicles out of there.
Yeah, I think on the ordinance for that, I think it does say that you have to get approved for a dealer license or whatever.
That's, same thing.
But that should have been the correct answer given to him, and that was not. what
He
was
didn't, I don't think he asked about the dealership, but I could be wrong.
I don't. think
That was his main problem with it, because it's a state dealership. In order to have a dealership, you have to have a commercial space. You cannot have it at your house, out of your garage. There are certain rules to it. If he doesn't follow those rules, he has a chance of losing his dealership license. That's why he called you in the first place. So,
But while you're looking this up, this is your conditional approval from the state of Wisconsin,
okay,
where you basically built it for storage facility. It didn't say anything to commercial storage. And I think your building permit said warehouse, if I remember right.
because storage units don't require bathrooms.
Here is basically the key thing that we have questions on. The building has been submitted and approved conditional for moderate hazard storage. Motorized vehicles should not be driven into the building, loaded, unloaded, or stored unless appropriate ventilation for the enclosed parking garage have been met. Additionally, hazardous materials such as, but not limited to fuel, gunpowder, fireworks, fertilizer, gasoline should not be stored unless the limitation is the amount addressed in IBC 307. Ownership have the responsibility to address these storage materials and to make sure that the design is appropriate. That's, so as far as, yes, you can have, the building itself is for storage. The individual units in there is what you're talking about.
Correct. Yeah,
The individual units, if they're just storing material, storing something, then it's fine. The problem is if they're gonna store or repair automobiles, then you have to go back and submit new plans, including exhaust systems to upgrade it.
okay.
That's
None of these materials are being stored in there.
okay. I'm just saying, but if you just said they're gonna look at automobiles or whatever. So if they're not here, huh?
Either way, it really doesn't matter. The problem lies with you. That's my problem. You didn't give them an answer that would even been remotely correct.
I said, if I remember right, I said it's zoned industrial. You built it for storage.
I'd like to point out that when I talked to you last week, you told me you don't remember talking to anybody. So it's interesting that you remember that now. You said they didn't talk to me. I don't know who they talked to.
I actually forgot about that. So now I do remember. So never mind.
I'm sorry, Al, I mean,
Here's the other thing I had asked the building inspector up here on Main Street for everything. And this is their final response or what you would need to do. You talked about the automobile storage or whatever repairs. For these to be used as a shop or a place of business, they would need to apply through the state for a change of use, which is required, which may require resubmitting plans to the state for review. If each unit is a different business, occupational use, then you may need to have additional plans for each unit.
Okay,
So that this is here nor there. None of this was brought to my attention until after you discouraged this customer from coming. He would have gone through the steps. You've been more than happy to go through it. Come to the board meeting, get the conditional approval. But because of what you told him, which has never been brought to my attention, still to this day, he ran the other way.
There's our complaint with their business out there, Roger.
His complaint today has nothing to do with this. You can deal with that later, and he's more than willing to work on those things. If someone would have told him. The complaint today is more how things were dealt with, and he wanted to bring it to the board's attention. I don't know where I am on the agenda. It doesn't say my name.
You're at the very end.
It's concerns with this. So if the board approves, I would like to do my part now because they go hand in hand. I don't know how that works.
Hearing this,
It's part of it, yeah. Okay. I wrote mine just so it could be clear and concise. I'm here tonight because I care deeply about the future of Clear Lake. I have invested countless of hours bringing builders, developers, businesses, because I've worked with him on many, and opportunities to the community because I believe in what we are and what we can become. Unfortunately, time and time again, those efforts have been met with unnecessary obstacles. Multiple builders have told me that working with our village clerk, Al Bannock, has been extremely difficult. One builder said that he has no interest in working with people or finding solutions. Another stated, I hope I never have to have another interaction with him. When neighboring communities like Amory and Clayton are actively promoting growth, offering multiple incentives, and creating clear, welcoming paths for development forward, we are falling behind. We cannot expect growth when the people trying to invest here leave frustrated, much like him, before projects ever get off the ground. I had a builder looking to build close to 24 homes here in Clear Lake. He chose Clear Lake. He wanted to be here. And instead, he went to Amory because working with them was much easier. And he is currently investing millions of dollars in Amory and building 34 homes. The ongoing ATR issue and situation is another example. Rather than sitting down with our owner or business owner to discuss concerns and looking for solutions, Mr. Bannock instead decided to communicate these concerns directly with a prospective tenant. According to that, the prospective tenant decided not to lease the space, resulting in over $70,000 in anticipated rental income. Whether someone agrees with how he's doing things is not the issue. If there are concerns, they should be discussed with our business owners first so that they have an opportunity to respond and work towards a positive solution. This is how communities encourage businesses to grow. Bypassing these conversations and communicating opinions directly to a tenant is not, in my opinion, a nurturing environment for business or economic development. My own interactions have reflected the same pattern. During a phone conversation last week regarding this issue, I attempted to have a productive discussion and explore solutions to try to help him move forward. I said, well, what I tried to say was, but what are our options? But I got cut off when I said the word but, and his response to me was, but what? What part of this is not getting through your head? I was calling to find a path forward and I asked questions about zoning process, trying to understand how things worked and what he needed to do to get a solution. That conversation did not end with a solution. Respectful communication and willingness to solve problems should be expected from our public officials. They represent our village every single day. A couple of weeks ago during the planning commission meeting, I asked the village for their vision on what growth was and the types of development that they hoped to attract. The answer given was a reference to our comprehensive plan, which, yes, is a plan, but it was written many years ago with very few updates. It's not a clear strategy for attracting investments and people who are looking to invest in our community. Over $1 million investment into our community. I believe we have tremendous potential, but growth doesn't happen by accident. And it requires a clear vision and, more importantly, leadership that supports the vision. And a culture that welcomes people who want to invest here. Cedar Core at the meeting gave us some great insight and ideas that we could implement to do so and move forward. Tonight, I'm asking respectfully that the board take some type of action. I ask that you do something to protect our community and those looking to invest here because they keep running away. And I'm sick of working so hard to have people just run the other direction. The current environment is not serving our residents, our existing businesses, or those who want to bring new investments to us. I'll leave you with this thought. The village office is often the very first impression someone has of our community. That first conversation can determine whether they choose to invest here or go somewhere else. If that impression is of conflict instead of collaboration, barriers instead of solutions, then we shouldn't be surprised when builders and businesses choose to leave or go to other communities. I hope that you'll take the information that we're giving you and do something with it. I appreciate your time.
I will say, I tend to agree. When I tried to build out here, the first thing I met with was resistance, telling me why I couldn't, why I couldn't. And it was frustrating, and it took 2 years to finally get where I was told the questions I had to answer. So I can understand where you're coming from, the frustration that we're seeing. I think we do need to do a better job bringing in new businesses, development, things like that. But I think we have to have the right development. And I think we do have to put together a group or something to try to come up with solutions and answers and speak with our community and potential investors. I mean, we're all here because we want to be here for this town, and it's, as you can see, when you drive down Main Street, there's not much left. And I mean, I have grandkids that are going to be growing up in this town, fortunately. Some of you don't, and maybe you don't care what happens later on, but I want them to grow up in this town too and have it be a great place for them to be. And it's frustrating because I know that we're not looking for those things. We just want to kind of go about our daily lives, make sure we can, not have to have a traffic light or something in town, which is fine, but yeah, I think we have to do more. I agree.
Roger.
I did find the text, the text. I don't know if you want me to read it or we just want to agree that there's a problem and move on. But
We'll just, right there, we'll just agree and move on and try
okay,
to pass it.
sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
If,
Yeah, you want to respond to you?
no, I'm not gonna respond to Allison. That's a waste of time.
Okay. All right.
That's no way to be treating our residents either, or we don't need that.
Well, what you didn't explain was the phone call. How many phone calls did you make to me that morning?
I was asking multiple questions.
Yes.
I was asking, and then I would call him because he was so angry. You didn't want to talk to him. So I was kind of helping you out. It was not going to be good.
That was my other question. Why were you calling instead of John?
Um,
And that would,
no, hold on. Mainly because the question is, you never called him, Al. You never called him. You were the one that had the issue. We were trying to solve an issue and he lost over 70 grand because of you. And like I said, you did not want to talk to him. So I was trying to help out and find solutions.
our problem, what was our problem, has been our problem out there, Roger.
Can we focus?
You don't want to talk about that.
He is not here for that right now. We're trying to,
Move on.
yeah, that's fine.
Let's set out another issue.
Okay.
Beaton Parks, 4th Street, 6th.
We're waiting on, we should receive, when do you think it's?
We haven't heard yet, but it should be in, hopefully this week or next week, we should be getting,
Our
we should
CB,
be releasing the CGB, awards to see if we get the grant this year or not. So,
that's like $1 million grant, so.
yeah, so, they put out the list of all the awards, and then, either Al or Roger should be getting a call directly to, if Clear Lake is awarded. So either way, we'll we'll report back as soon as we know. Thank you. We'll be doing some, soil borings and a couple infiltration test bits out there this week or next. On 4th and 6th and then that empty lot on the intersection of those two. So there will be a little activity out there as well.
The business street.
First, it's done, first layer of blacktop is done, right, Mike?
First layer is done, second layer should be put on hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks. When they do the township, they're thinking that they're gonna swing through and do ours because the soft spots went away and everything we dug out, so it's rock hard and it's gonna be a really nice street now. So,
And you might as well take up the next part, trees on Main Street.
So, the tree situation, as you agreed to, the trees are coming down. I don't think we should remove all the trees just for the shell shock of it. I think we could do, as you see, everybody's got the little map. What I was kind of proposing to do is leave the 2 trees in green. You'll see the 5 trees that'll get left. So it'll be the 2, one by the post office. Or the 2 trees by the post office, basically. The tree by the park area. Up there in the corner by the intersection. And then the 2 trees by Overby, which are on the north side of the street. We would leave them this year and then see what you thought about taking them down next year. Just so that we have some trees on there and the concrete around them is not bad. It's not lifted, so it's not a trip hazard. So all them should be okay for another year or so. But that'll give us time to put in the planter, as you can see right there underneath the TV. And the proposed maybe to put in planters like that. We were thinking 6 of them on the street. So basically we're taking the trees out. If you look on here, it shows. So if you take the trees out, you can put the planters with flowers on it. And then 1 extra one by the physical therapy building. I thought it'd look nice there on that corner and won't hinder anybody's view. But I think that would be a new direction to go with instead of having trees, they have the planters. Now, these planters could be, we could lift them up with skid steer in the end of the year. We can store them. And then in the spring, Bergmans would come and plant them. And if you want to know the cost is on the back. So, it's about $1,165 last year to plant the baskets through Bergmans. They're gonna need new liners, so it's about $300 this year more. So it's about $1,400 to keep as we have now. With them up in the poles. The new Ruxley planters, it costs about $229 each if we purchase them this year. If we don't purchase them this year, they'll be $259. I figured 6 of them. The cost was $1,380, $150 each to plant them yearly. So about $2,280 upfront cost. But then it'd be about $1,000 a year. So it'd be probably a little bit cheaper than what we have now. There'll be less of them, of course, but they'll be big and they'll be noticeable on the corners. Kind of where the trees are to take the place of the trees. So I think they'll be really pretty. That's just kind of plan. I mean, you can change it any way you want or whatever, but the trees will be gone. I don't know how many. That's what you got to decide if you want them all gone tonight or what, because they're coming in. The Richmond Tree Service coming in here and give us a bid hopefully this week yet.
There's at least 4 that are trip hazards that need.
So we're not taking them on ourselves.
What's that?
We're paying somebody to remove them.
Somebody liability to cut a tree down and right against the buildings. And I mean, they're not easy trees to take down.
So is it gonna cost us more to have them come back next time and do it again?
It will, but there's no cost to come, you know what I mean? There really is no cost to come again more because we're gonna actually have them look at doing some stuff on Gulf Drive, trimming up Gulf Drive because some of the branches are low enough, but we can't get them with a tree saw. Even saying on the pickup, we can't get to them with a pole saw. So we were thinking we'd have to have them take some down some of the branches on Gulf Drive again. So they don't hit the payloader and things like that. So, I mean, the Richmond Tree Service is in town and comes around and services. Clearly.
We've been using them for like almost 10 years now,
Yeah,
and they've done worse.
so it isn't, so I don't think it's a big issue. It's gonna be kind of hard to get all the trees done this year with the concrete, you know, because we're gonna be ripping out. The concrete.
Concrete too, right?
Yep, yep. Had contacted Ryan Berg. He said that he would make it fit in his schedule. Anywhere from the most expensive one, the way it looked was around $2,000 to do, but that's like half the circle, because that's how much it's it up. And now that you know they're a trip hazard, you almost can't leave anything, you know what I mean? You gotta do it right. We're gonna do it, and there's been tree surface would probably do the tree, grinding too. And then we'll do the concrete removal and get them prepped, and Ryan would just come in and pour them. Is what we had planned on doing. So. I mean, you can take them all out if you want. It's just a matter of if you think it'll look nice, great. I mean, it's gonna be a shock, I think, when you take the trees down the way it is, but they have to come down. I mean,
We had actually talked about doing this 10 years ago when Mark was still here, and we caught so much flack from the community, and well, then Mark got sick that we left them. So they've been in a decade longer than we had planned on.
We're gonna hear about it no matter. I'd rather not have people trip on whatever we do themselves. His tree's gone. Is there money available to?
We'll make it. We'll
And
make it work.
the other thing is they are ash trees, and ash trees are dying. Some of these are already dying, like the one where the chiropractor is, and the one in the pavilion there where the Nielsen lot is dying too.
and that's in here to take out.
Yeah, that one has to come down because it's bad. Well, it's unfortunate, but Emerald Ash Borer got them.
There's really no option whether we take them down or not. They have to come down. It's whether we want to rip off the Band-Aid and do it all at once or.
Right.
Yep.
The two trees that are over by like Overbees are a different style tree.
Yeah.
And then the ones that are in the center by the post office are a different kind too.
That's why you're thinking they could.
That's the only thing different about those. They are.
A year or two if you need to. Cause they're not really shy.
We have 4 ash trees on Main Street.
There should be one by till.
Five. We have 5 ash trees on Main Street. If you count the one up by the pavilion, 6 if you count the one in park area there. So that are ash trees.
Ones that are proposed to take down here have to come down for sure because of the concrete building. The 4 or the 5 that I left are not pushing the concrete up yet.
Going to the part. All you wanna do.
I feel like if we did them all, we would save ourselves from having to fix more concrete. Way longer, it'll, roots just gonna push it up. We can save money that way. I think you'll have to do the concrete anyway. I don't think.
Well, the ones that, the 4 that are getting left, it probably would only be 4x4 square, basically. Those are still pretty darn level. The one up at the corner, by the old Isaacson's there, or whatever you wanna call it, the old grocery store. So that one will leave a little bit of concrete work too, more, but yeah, there isn't that big a footprint that it would be needing to be done on that one.
Just be where the gradings are on those other ones that aren't pushed the concrete up. You just.
Yeah, they're not even pushing the grates up
Yeah,
really yet.
there's
Gradings
Or
that be
overbees
removed
that
and
have
then
grades, yeah.
concrete put where the.
Yeah, yep. And there's only 2 of them.
Yeah, those would be pretty easy to fix
Yeah,
in any time. We could probably pluck those ourselves because those trees aren't big.
no,
Those would be us removing.
I'd say just remove them all. Yeah, it's gonna save us some concrete there, maybe.
And the trucks here, they're foreign. You could just keep going from one end to
Got a
the other.
motion to do what they wanna do here.
Well, I'll make a motion that we do it all. Take them all, get it done.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded, go ahead and take them all out of there.
how about as far as the planters? The new style, let's see if on that.
Thanks, fine. Oh, motion made and seconded, take them all out of here. Oh. Hear that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now, in favor of the planner, you want opposite of different things?
For budget consideration, I would try and wait and, if we're gonna do this, the trees and stuff, I
Yeah.
would wait and maybe do the planners next year.
Cause we're gonna pay them,
We can factor in the budget.
we're pulling those out in the winter time anyway, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's- They wouldn't
They wouldn't go till next year
they
yet.
wouldn't have time to.
Yeah.
You would-
All options.
No, you're not planting them this year anyhow.
Yeah, so,
I'm just thinking budget wise, it'd be easier to plan for next year.
and then we could just do them all, or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the street department thinks is a good idea.
If you buy the planters this year, you're gonna save $30 per plant. Because she's got 6 left in stock and we need 6, is what I kind of figured.
Well, I'm only counting 5 spots here. I'm just curious.
By the physical therapy there.
One, but you got one by the chiropractor, one by the Midway, one by Kivlin's old place, one by,
Oh, yeah, that's a
Old
good
company.
observation. So we'll have a. Well, we could do 5 then. I thought it was 6. I apologize. But yeah, that's what you count. Yep. I mean, that would be fine too. But they are $30 cheaper if you buy them this year. And like I said, we're not gonna plant them this year, of course. You're just gonna get them so that we have them for next spring. And then we'll put the dirt in the bottom. We might have already talked to Bergman's. If we were to go that route, we'll fill the bottom up most of the way. They'll put a little bit of dirt. They'll come plant them each year. And hopefully have them out before Memorial Day. And they should be easier to water, easier to keep alive, less watering, we're hoping, is what she was saying. I did look into a concrete 3x3 square thing that you can put on a pallet fork and lift off for like trees. And I was talked out of it by the greenhouse because they figured that the tree might not live because it might freeze it too hard. So they were kind of thinking that might not be a good idea. I didn't bring that up. You have problems with something.
Well, if we don't have the fundings for the planners currently, I guess we'd hold off.
We can put in the budget for next year and we'll address it. Next
Because
year.
honestly, we're not gonna, I mean, yeah, we could save $30 a planter, but they're not gonna get used anyways.
Okay, push that off the next spring. Sure, digester. And on that trend,
Digester, excuse me, the digester is back online and all repaired. We're on the schedule for secondary digester to be taken down when we start spreading sludge. We'll have that emptied out. Have the crew come back in again. Replace all the torn user heads, make sure it's in good condition inside. Yeah, beyond that, the new diffuser or the new digester seems to be working really well. A lot better TO improvements. Yeah, they did good work and actually want to see how it all changes once both digesters are run properly, but I did hand out a fact sheet. We did get the draft for our new permit. The DNR is adding temperature, copper, E. coli, and continued chloride monitoring to our permit. First year is primarily just monitoring and gathering data. But from there, it's, if we're not meeting their thresholds, we're gonna be having to make new plans, install new probes, figure out ways to get to the thresholds they're setting for us. We did have a conversation with MSA today, and they suggested that get on top of it as soon as possible so we can start looking at grant money for improvements. So if we're doing E. coli, we're gonna have to get UV bulbs to treat that bacteria. That's a whole process, installing new electrical area to work on them and everything that comes with it. And that's just with E. coli. Copper could be a whole different issue. Could be partially because of AFP. I don't know if we thought that their boiler room could potentially have copper in it that could be getting leached into our system again. Temperature, we're hoping that this year we're gonna be obviously monitoring it, but instead of putting the cement blankets over our final effluent tank, we're gonna leave them off. And hopefully that'll lower our temperature enough to get to their threshold. And chlorides, I don't remember if I mentioned this last month, but AFP got turned away by the Met Council. They're no longer accepting anything from out of state. So they're back to trying to get
Duluth to accept it, and they're working with Veresco and Turtle Lake, who apparently has an RO installed, and they're gonna be testing their, see if they'll take it instead. On top of all that, DNR is having us test our wet testing, which is the one we have to run up Superior, but instead of just once a year, it'll be at least 3 times a year. So that's $2,000 to test there as well. Lots of fun stuff coming through.
Oh, go ahead. I'll ask you when you're done.
I mean, that's a quick rundown of the new permit. It's not confirmed yet. I mean, this is just here to look at it, make sure everything looks right to you guys, document, and I believe by the 10th, they're going to be, that's our date to, I guess, adjust anything we see in there that isn't correct, but looked it over all today with MSA and everything looks right, and there's not a whole lot we can do to change what they have written down in there.
Have they actually said what the limits are for, well, E. coli, copper, the temperature? I mean, are they just gonna be this, I mean, this is typical Department of Natural Resources.
E. coli, they do have, it's listed in here, it's 100.6 pounds per milliliter. Or 10% exceedance, there is no limit in here, or yes, there is for copper. It's like 38 milligrams per liter. In the actual.
33 micrograms,
Yep,
and then 21 is a weekly and monthly average.
correct.
What are we at?
We haven't been testing, so I know in 2023, we were a high of 28, I want to say, and a low of 11. Temperature is changing by month, but just over winter, October just October, it has to be a weekly average of 63 degrees. November to February has to be an average of 54 degrees, and then March has to be 57 degrees. And just glancing at last year's lab reports, we weren't going to be hitting that.
Oh, all right, well, as far as the copper goes, we do have some, there should be some data there.
Yeah, we had that old
The
2023.
thing is with the DNR is the lower we have, you know, that we, without even treating, they'll just make our limits lower then. Because if they'll just say if the treatment plant can make those limits without any trying to, or spending any money on it, then we'll just make them low enough where we. So the E. coli, I know that they don't go by colonies anymore, or.
And that wasn't listed in here that I saw, at least.
I mean, it'd be nice to know what they're proposing as far as,
And I could get the
yeah, because
full report up. This is just a quick fact sheet from it.
we're that's gonna open up a whole can of worms. And it's gonna cost a lot of money.
Yeah. UV install is not gonna be cheap.
And it's a constant battle to replace bulbs and keep them clean. I mean, there's a lot of labor involved, so. Better than using chlorine. But safer than chlorine.
But apparently,
Expensive.
this is a statewide, they're doing this to everybody. It's not, they're picking on us. The DNR just is, got some new faces in, and I don't know if they're looking to make a name for themselves or just straight out of college and going, this is what the book says, this is what you need to do.
Well, and it could get tossed out too, depending on how the election goes in November, so.
Okay, well, thanks. We know we got stuff coming then. Yeah, and
Got something?
Well, I was just thinking of purchasing a cargo container for more storage behind the treatment plant there. I did look into one, but it would be $3,000 for a 40-foot shipping container that's there delivered. And then we can have all that stuff in the sludge truck building, all that stuff on the wall into there, so we have more room to store other vehicles in there and more,
new parts,
and new parts that I would
emergency parts.
wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on putting one out there or going ahead with it. Building a whole new storage building, which would cost around, I just did a rough estimate on planning, and it'd be about like $20,000, and that's not including concrete. But it doesn't need to, nothing to happen now, so. Just
Something we're thinking about so that we actually have storage area and a place to put all the spare parts we need to be
yeah,
getting on hand.
because right now it would have been nice to have another air blower, because
Yeah, we just had to pull the blower apart last week,
2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago, send that out, and it would have been great to have another one to plug back in, but we have anywhere to put one.
Just get you guys thinking on that, so.
That's so.
Thanks, guys.
Your replacement, we're done?
Well,
All residential are done.
side. There's 20 of the commercial ones.
Only the inch and a half is bigger.
Yeah, bigger. And Larry is coming out to do meter testing here probably in September. I think I'm gonna have him and I are gonna go around and look at some of them, and maybe I can get a list together and see, because he said he would help me replace those ourselves. So maybe by September, October, we'll have more of an idea if it's something we want to look at, maybe doing early next year. And then all of ours would be cellular technology. Right now, we're still reading them all off of the Tremble, but the Tremble will eventually fail. It's already had some hiccups, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's not working the best.
Yeah, so we can go back to manual read, but that isn't as handy. But now that we've gotten the cellular and all the small ones, it'd be nice to eventually, within less than a year, have all of them up and running. So I should be back to work here in a couple of weeks, and then Larry will be out. Maybe him and I by the September meeting will have some idea what we're looking at. We'll get a better report then.
Art, go back to sewer. I say, did we have a problem with sewer lines or were they just cleaning them this
We're
week?
just cleaning the camera like we do every year. We have to do so many feet a year per USDA or what is it, DNR? Yep, so that was just our standard stuff. They come and then we'll start doing our own jetting here now in the next 2 weeks.
I didn't stop and talk.
Their camera.
Figured that's what it was.
Yeah,
Camera.
Yeah.
Everything was good. according to them.
yeah, we did some lead goosenecks too, just to see what materials were in the ground for the DNR. And we were lucky, we had 6 spots that we picked and all 6 were copper. So that's wonderful to know. Some of them they were worried were galvanized or possible lead. We confirmed today that they weren't. So the DNR wants a 10-year plan coming up as to what we're gonna do with all of our lead and copper galvanized line replacement. So finding out that there's copper there, that kind of takes the stress off some of them areas of town. So, because by 27 here, we have to have the report done by November 27th.
On all the lead.
We all think so. We all think so.
Okay.
We don't have it.
Ambulance.
We haven't found it.
The junior report for the July 27th.
Cody or Chris or you.
Everything.
They had their quarterly meeting and then they went over, preliminary budget numbers. The budget, they were asked by a couple of the township people if they could wait till October to the October meeting to finalize the budget. Um, they did 69 runs in the second quarter. They had 166 hours out of service in the second quarter. One of the EMTs was apparently he was hurt and he's not gonna, they did figure he's not coming back anyway, but they have enough people to cover everything. They're going to try to update operational guidelines. And they talked about some building repairs. And then, of course, we talked about the parking lot. So basically, we're gonna be able to use the parking lot, but it's not gonna be any 24/7 parking there anymore. And they're gonna paint some lines, install some new signage. You know, and then it's gonna come down to if somebody's parking there that shouldn't be there, they need to be ticketed and towed. That's the only thing that's gonna keep people from using that parking lot. But she indicated, her main worry is, liability, injury liability and stuff, which they thought if they had control of the parking lot, they wouldn't get sued. And you're gonna get sued regardless if that parking lot's shut down to the public or not. And it's the village that's gonna be in the front. So they're gonna just leave everything the way it is, and then just restrict the parking more. And, I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
Just a follow-up, Paul Ludwig would come in and talk to me Thursday morning. And we kind of hashed over the same thing. We will, and just getting an agreement with them, we will be putting up the signs for the parking lot. And basically, they're gonna say no parking from 6 p to 6 a. But they kind of want, so people can park during the day, in, unmarked spots or whatever. But after work, they need to leave and be nobody overnight. Part of it is, will help us clean it, everything else, so it makes it easier if we don't have vehicles around there.
Right.
So, but they're gonna, like I said, there'd be some painting, we'll have to put 4 signs up. 2 at each entrance, so, and I figured that, in talking to Paul, that's. At least,
What does that do with Clear Lake Days? Now that they're closing the parking lot,
I didn't look.
they didn't close it for that, okay.
They're still willing to relocate the ambulances for that weekend and
Okay.
let the things get set up there.
there might be signs in the way, but I don't know. That's gonna have to be addressed.
Yeah, working around it. Library,
Lori's not here.
and law enforcement. All again.
I'm gonna stand up so you guys can see me because I tucked in the corner. Last month we had a couple of cool cases. Way back in June, we had a anonymous tip about somebody with some felony warrants that they believed were staying in our village, but they weren't. They were actually in Barron County. Needless to say, they found us. We found them based on a call down kind of by the school, slumped in their car, intoxicated. Car in gear, foot on gas pedal. Couldn't wake them up. Ended up breaking the window and dealing with the person in about 5 minutes into it. I'm like, hey, this is the guy with the felony warrants out of Wyoming. So he went to jail. Then the other really cool case, we had a fraud case, and I've been doing law enforcement for a number of years. And the cool thing about our fraud case is by working on it quick and, well, a little bit of luck, working with another agency from a different state, the case is still kind of ongoing, but our other agency was able to seize and put a hold on the funds of the bad guy in his bank. So our victim, who was elderly, and it was one of those phone scams, eventually should be able to recover their $42,000. That is way cool. Other than that, we provided a board report. We provided you some information about block cameras and our policy. Lori Martin had reached out to me and said, He's getting a lot of questions and discussion about flock cameras. Asked that it was on the agenda. I think the biggest problem with flock cameras right now is that there's a lot of people that are uninformed about flock cameras. We have one flock camera in the village, it's up by Nielsen's. It's been there for a while. When we need it, it's really great. Just utilized it the other day on a Clayton case. If we have it taken away from us, it won't matter to me. If you guys feel that we don't need to have it, that's fine. But it is a nice tool when we do need it, and it's been utilized mostly for the stores that are there. I talked to those stores and they're all in support of having it for flock cases and portrait cases. The last time I used it for a Clear Lake case myself, it was a shoplifting case from True Value. One of our officers used it for a forgery case. They able to put together a forgery case based on a flock camera. I just used it the other day for a theft of coins up in Clayton and used the flock camera to identify a vehicle, and it was seen to be down here prior to the burglary. So I talked to a hardware store person who got me video, and then got a me later on and said, not only were they in my store, but they stole the crowbar that was probably used in the burglary. That's sad and funny at the same time. So, all that being said, my vote is if we were gonna have a block camera in town, that would be great. We're in a contract for it right now. And when that comes in due, we can bring it up again, but for now, I'd like to keep with it.
I talked to the store owners and their story was a little different on how it was approached to them on, when it happened, whose idea it was, but than what we were told last meeting, but, I'm fine with having a flock camera there for their benefit. I mean, it helps them and it helps you guys. It's fine. Do we need them all over town? No. Ben?
If I could add in, I think it is a really hot topic, in Woodbury and all the metro areas. It's a super hot topic, right? We all balance everything, you're talking about civil liberties, basically against protection against, theft and other crimes. How does one weigh that? One of the things I want to put forth to the board on that last page, in that document, there are options to give you guys some say in this, right? Like a lot of the concerns about data shareability, that can be dialed back while still having the camera. So I just want to make sure that you guys are clear that it's not just a keep it or it goes, that there's a potential to put an oversight committee into place. They have somebody, from the board or multiple members, or even from the public to be on that, to do part of the audits to ensure that it's being used correctly. There's a lot of different things in conjunction with the policy that we already have to reassure people if we do keep it, that it's being used appropriately. So I just want to call that part out and then basically stop talking and let you guys decide where you go from there.
I also spoke with Kevin Isaacson about this, and I don't know if we were intentionally misled but I feel like I was misled a little bit, even with the little flyer or the information you gave us at the law enforcement meeting, where it says that initially the camera was funded by 2 businesses and now maintained by the Clear Lake Police Department. What I was told was that you guys approached those businesses, asked for donations towards the funding of the camera. They were not fully funded by those businesses, and the village paid some of the money. So my question is, and also it says it now is maintained by the Clear Lake Police Department. When the way it was told to me is that it's always been maintained by the Clear Lake Police Department, never was by the businesses. So I feel a little bit misled by that. So I have 2 questions, basically, maybe one. Did the village pay money towards that camera to purchase and be installed? And if so, was it brought to the board, put on an agenda so that the community could have their say in it?
I don't believe that the village paid any money. If there was, it might have been like an install fee or something like that, but either all of it or the bulk majority of it was fully funded by those 2 businesses.
when you say that brought the idea forward, we don't expect that anybody in the community would know law enforcement technology. When they had a rush or a flood of what we call white collar crime, the fraud and forgery, we brought it to them to say, this is a thing that's out there. Do you want to do that? And then there was quite a few conversations with Kevin and with, I think it was Larry or Carl at the time. And Kevin even deferred back to his entire family saying like, hey, they're taking over ownership. And they got together collectively and they said, okay, we'll contribute this. You know, what's the other one contributing? Like how that was all negotiated out, right? It was initially designed to be a pilot program of, nobody knew what flat cameras were back in 2022, 2023, right? It was designed to be a pilot program. If it was successful, keep it going. If it was not, take it out, get rid of it, never go back to it.
Yeah, and I understand that, and that's fine if that's.
It wasn't designed to mislead you. That's I'm trying to clear that.
But it can be perceived as the way you had it done was so that you didn't have to bring it to the board and to the community. That's the way it's being perceived by the community, is, if you get what I'm saying. Is
It wasn't
by saying it was privately owned, privately funded, that we didn't have to bring it for approval. Is kind of the way that it's getting brought to me, and people are saying, well, we didn't know nothing about it. Why didn't we have a say in it? You understand?
Yeah, I can appreciate that perspective. You know, I guess my answer to that is we do a lot of things operationally. Different boards have different expectations. You know, I think there's only 2 people that are on this board that were there then. You know, I can tell you that I know Mike Flaherty had conversations about it somewhere along the line, that Marie did at some point. I think even Roger, we've had conversations, you know, was it at the beginning, was it at the end? It wasn't a secret. It wasn't meant to be that way. It wasn't meant to bypass anything. I think at the time when the flat camera came out as an idea, as a concept, Tim Strobush had said, this could be really good. I don't think that we'd get any funding for it. If you want to do it, talk to the businesses, see if that's something they're interested in. He tasked me with it. That's exactly what I did. And like I said, you guys still have the control to shut it down, to change the way it's used, or keep it going.
Well, I think it benefits the businesses. I mean, at least Kevin indicated to me that it's a good thing, and I can see where it's a good thing. I don't think it's being, you know, it can't be used to as far as traffic accidents, it's not even pointed towards. And I'm sure that the 2 cameras that Nielsen's have on the front of their buildings they're owned by those.
Yes, and we've used those for accidents.
And you can access them. They're happy to do that, and that's fine. That's great. But I guess I'm not. I understand times have changed, and we have to be aware of, there needs to be some transparency, that everybody needs to be upfront about, okay, there's a camera here. Yep, it should be public knowledge that there's a camera there. Just like there should be public knowledge. There's more cameras in town. They're just not flock cameras, correct?
The only cameras in town are on municipal buildings. Yeah, there are no other cameras, other than that, I should say the park, as talked about last week.
There was a camera on a light pole on Main Street on the intersection of, well, and it was pointed right at the Midway. Now,
That's not ours.
okay, well, it's gone now too, because we went out and looked at it. The very next day it was gone. So,
Yeah, that,
last week, I think. Well, it's probably 2 weeks ago now, because
that was not ours.
2-3 weeks ago.
Was there any construction? Because a lot of construction companies will fill those things up, especially like if they were working on a hospital.
well, it was pointed right. It wasn't pointed at the clinic, or it was pointed directly kitty corner across the street at the front door of the Midway, but I'm sure
Chief has to be the same thing.
it probably looked down the street towards the village hall here. But we saw, I mean, I didn't take a picture of it. I guess I'm not one that does that, but I wish I would have.
The logistics of that would require it to be plugged in, which you got to find a power source on a building like that. I mean, Just telling you the secrets of how that stuff works. You'd have to make an arrangement with the hospital, to plug it in or.
It was on a village light pole. It's village property. It was on a village light. We own the poles. Village does. We don't own the lights, but we own the poles.
Sure.
So it was on a village pole. And it was, I didn't go up to it and look at it, but it was definitely a camera. There was a number of us that. I hate to admit it, but I went into the bar and had a drink.
I didn't make up for chase, but we saying those are camera.
Yeah.
There wasn't no camera there.
Well, and I was told that it wasn't yours, and it's like, okay, that's fine. I mean, like, somebody put something there, maybe it was a fake camera. I don't know. It's gone now, and, I don't know, but anyway, we just want transparency, guys. It's not a secret. It shouldn't have to be a secret that there's, and it does.
Secret about the flop.
It does bother people, because people, what are they there for other than for surveillance? And that's a bad word to a lot of people. I mean, we can, whatever, political or.
That's the test of, where
Well, but-
the liberties meet, to protect.
Well, and that's another thing. If we get involved in a lawsuit with American Civil Liberties Union, they got a lot more money than we do. And there's a lot bigger communities than Clear Lake, Wisconsin that have gotten rid of their flock cameras because of lawsuits.
And I think you'll see state law changing in the near future.
Well, it's gonna have to be addressed.
Minnesota passed a law that says you can't search for a specific person without a warrant.
Right.
That's the legislation. If you look at the footnote in there that was proposed in 2025, it got shut down. It's a matter of time with all the rhetoric around it now. I think our attorney sitting here, it's probably not a new topic for them either.
It's gotta be addressed. I mean, it's gonna have to be addressed because there is no,
But I don't think, they're not gonna sue people for having these cameras up. They're gonna have like a cease and desist or take it down order, or more likely is gonna be that they're gonna pass legislation really highly restricting the data and the usage of it. That either makes it impossible to use or satisfies the general public or however.
yeah, and it can be a useful tool for enforcement. I know it can, and that's fine. As long as it's, there's a lot of misinformation. You're right. There's a lot of misinformation, the flock system supposedly, if, insurance companies can buy the data, they could share the data with any other, other law enforcement agencies. And as long as Clear Lake owns that data, correct?
The data.
On the flock
I think
camera.
it's accessible by
It's, I
a
mean,
party company.
owning the data, yeah, we're the only ones that can get to it. If we have sharing turned on with other law enforcement agencies, you guys want to restrict that's.
I'm not saying that. It's just, we're in control of
Yeah.
that data. And the same with,
Retention is 30 days.
and is that the same with all the other cameras in town then? The villages cameras?
The villages cameras, that's all our data. Nobody else has that.
Right. And how long is that stored for?
It depends on the activity in the area because it's based on the recordings that are retained with motion. So most of them, the maximum that I think we have right now is 35 days. Typically, like out front here, where there's a lot of traffic with the main entrance, that one's only like 22 days because there's just so much more recording going.
Much more data.
Correct.
No, that's fine. I just would like to see a policy put into effect. There's something that we're accountable for who uses it, who looks at it, how long it's kept. I mean, I think there should be some stuff in place for that.
We have a whole policy stack revision that Paul and I started on in November, and then things got busy and we dealt with some other stuff, but we want to bring that forward to out of the law enforcement committee that we had this bigger strategic planning session involving, the community, the board, and some other pieces. Because there's bigger questions to answer in that policy stack about pursuit policies, about use of force, that aren't just a police department issue to answer. And we do want input and feedback. And so I guess I would ask for direction. Do you want us to finish the policy stack first, provide that to you? And that is, part of that is all things at present.
I think we're getting to the point here where we'll have a law enforcement committee get together with you guys and put together a policy
Yeah, I think.
bring it back to us. We can sit here and talk about this all night long.
But can you, for that law enforcement, can you bring those options on what, how we can monitor those cameras or how we can, like you said, keep data from so-and-so, how?
Yeah, so if you look at the bottom in that section, the data sharing one, those are, you can kind of, you can select, like, we turn it off for everybody.
Yeah, so section, G. That section G and the.
I don't have a copy of it in front of me, but.
Oh, find it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the very last, there's like 4 questions for the board to consider, or, you know, decide if you want to do anything with them or not.
okay.
I guess I would suggest we're in a contract and I don't know how much is left, we don't commit into it, aren't we? If nothing else, when we have to renew, we bring that to the board and say, hey,
If you want to
we're
keep it or
going
not.
to renew.
Yes.
We'll set it up here for a meeting here in the near future.
You guys
We get together and,
wait till Lori gets back.
yeah,
Do you want just that one camera policy, or do you want the whole policy stack, which right now is in the neighborhood of 140 pages?
Well, I think that flock camera is kind of the biggest one, because that's the only one that.
Block camera policy you guys have in your hand.
Yeah,
That's in effect.
but you said there's ways to modify how that data can be
Yes.
used, shared, that kind of thing. That's the kind of information I think we would like.
Yep, and we can go over that. It wouldn't be necessarily a policy review, but just telling you what the options are, even showing you and demonstrating it, and then you can dictate what that's gonna be.
Exactly, thank you.
anything else for law enforcement?
Oh, the only other thing is we got a kids fishing thing coming up this month down at the park. It's gonna be fun, on 15th.
15, okay. Right. Well,
The only thing I'll add on personnel is we've had 2 or 3 requests for applications. Clerk, treasurer position, so nobody's returned anything yet, but we've had several requests for information. It will continue to be advertised for the end of August. It's an Amory paper, Amory's, I think Baldwin, the tab section is coming out in the yellow paper the rest of this month. I do have it on the municipal treasurer's website, and also I think I have tried the, municipal clerk's website. Treasurers don't advertise that stuff, so that's what I could not get was the Indeed one. I couldn't figure out how to get that posted there. So we can still do it, but yeah, you had all kinds of things, how to look up for, if you were interested in a job that didn't tell me how to post. Okay, so
anything else? So you got a list of your partisan primary, August 11th.
yeah, just remember partisan primaries next Tuesday here. That is basically you pick a party and you vote for candidates within that party. If you venture outside, let's say you vote a Democrat, Republican, your ballot is disqualified. It will not count. So you need to stick within the party. Winner of the August one will then go to the November election. Then you can vote, whatever. But the partisan primary, if it's partisan, you have to stay within that party. Disbursements for general, 177,917.71. Water was 28,883.96. Sewer was $52,013.57. So total disbursements to the month, during the month of July, $258,815.24.
We pay the bills.
Second.
Made and seconded to go ahead and pay the disbursements. Favor, say aye.
Aye.
Vote.
Second.
Made and seconded to adjourn. Favor, aye.
Aye.
Oh,